Access Fort Wayne offers reflections of our community. Production facilities provided by Access Fort Wayne are a service of the Allen County Public Library. The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting organizations. For more information about creating your own television program with Access Fort Wayne, call 421-1250.
Hello, it's me again. I've come to you this week. My name is Patty Hunter, and this is my show called Patty's Page. So today I have a special guest, and he is president of Wooden Nickel Records. What's his name? Okay, none other than Bob Roets.
Hey, Patty, nice to meet you.
You're the president of this whole shebang
You
of
bet.
Wooden Nickels.
Yep, been around over 30 years doing it, too.
30 years?
Yes, uh-huh.
You must have been quite young.
Yeah, actually, I was 23 years old when I owned my own music store, which is quite unusual.
But you like doing that?
Oh, my gosh, yeah, it's awesome. I don't have any problems getting up in the morning going to work every day.
Music, oh, that must be wonderful.
Oh, it is.
You were born here?
No, actually, I was born in Baraboo, Wisconsin. I spent my childhood in Madison, Wisconsin.
Right.
And how I got to Fort Wayne is kind of an interesting story. I grew up listening to music a lot, and I always wanted to work in music stores. And I did some disc jockey work when I was in high school, and I had a huge vinyl collection when I was in college. And I got the opportunity to work in a music store in Madison. The second music store I worked at was called Slatewood Records. Slatewood had a record store down in Fort Wayne. When I graduated from college in Madison, I was asked to come down and run Slatewood Records here in Fort Wayne. That was back in 1980. Oh, yeah. And so I moved down to Fort Wayne at that time and fell in love with the store. And then in 1982, about a year and a half after I got here, the owner, his name was Bill White, he was an attorney in Chicago, decided that he no longer wanted to be in the music business, he wanted to be in the video rental business, which at that time was just at the ground floor. Video rentals just really got really popular then. So he started a video chain in Chicago, and he got out of the music business. So I was left high and dry without a job, and so I spent a summer contemplating my future in the business, whether this was going to work or not. Yeah. And to make a long story short, I basically, after a few weeks of seeing the store at Slatewood, which I was working at, sit empty with a for lease sign in it, right. I decided to take the plunge and start Wooden Nickel Music. And so that was quite an experience. The first year and a half, I took no salary at all. Fortunately, my wife Cindy at the time was working at Lincoln here in town, and she was making a good salary and was able to pay all our bills at home. So I started the store just, I think I had $8,000 when I started, and it grew and grew and grew. And by 1984, which is 2 years later, I started my second store. And then we just kept growing and growing.
How many stores do you have now?
I have 3 now. At one time I had 5. Oh. We used to have one in Georgetown, and we had one at Southgate that are no longer open. But we have 3, and we've remained solid with 3 now for about 5 or 6 years.
That's good.
So it's stabilized.
You're solid in the community.
Well, yeah, I think so.
You get a lot of people come?
Well, I'm pretty much out every night talking to people and hanging out. Just this week, an average week, I go to 3 to 4 concerts a week and mingle. Last night I was down at Parkview here. I went to the Bob Dylan concert last night.
Did you meet him?
I did not meet Bob. No, as a matter of fact, it was kind of funny. I'll tell you a funny story. I knew the promoter, and we sold tickets for the show. We sold hundreds of tickets for the Dylan show at our locations, because we also sell tickets. That's one of our sidelines. And when my wife and I were leaving the show, we noticed that as soon as the show was done at 10 o'clock, his bus was right next to the stage, like right by the street.
Yeah.
He ran out to the bus. He was on the bus. By the time we got to our car, we saw his tour
He
buses
was long
gone. He was
gone.
out of Fort Wayne by 10 minutes after 10 last night.
Because he had a tight schedule.
Yeah, he's playing in Indianapolis today. But that was kind of interesting. But a great show last night. The night before, I was down at Come to Go. I don't know if you've heard of Come to Go.
Yeah, I've heard of
A
it.
great place for music.
Yeah.
And I happen to be, one of the volunteer things I do is I do the camera work for them as far as pictures. Bill Maloney, who's he's from El Paso, he's from New Mexico, I believe it's in New Mexico. But anyway, he's a troubadour, and he was a good warm-up for Dylan because he was kind of like the storyteller kind of guy. And I went to that show. And then last Saturday, we hosted Fair Fiola, who had just won the Battle of the Bands at Columbia Street. I actually run that between myself and Doug at What's Up Magazine here in town. We run Battle of the Bands, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but what we do, we start with 32 to 40 bands. That starts in May. We run 17 consecutive Thursday nights, which gets to be long for me because I'm basically a volunteer, but it's 5 hours each week, and I'm the head judge, and we start with 40 bands, and we crown a champion a couple weeks ago, which happened to be Fair Fiola. They're from Warsaw. It's a family.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's actually a family, 4 brothers and sisters.
What type of music? Every genre?
Oh, yeah, we have every genre. They happen to be kind of an Americana band, but a little bit of indie rock. The band that finished second was Valhalla, which was more of a metal band.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, we have all different kinds of bands that enter. We have rap, hip hop, country, metal.
Gospel?
I don't recall a gospel artist entering the competition, but it's pretty varied. I mean, it's pretty cool because we get to see all different kinds of music, and that's kind of fun. But the first few rounds are a little tough because there's some bands that are they're so-so. They're just maybe younger bands that are just getting started, and it's hard to judge a band that they've only been playing for 3 months or 6 months, you know, because they don't quite have the skill set down yet.
That's true.
But usually the really strong bands have a tendency to come on, and you know pretty much by the end that they deserve to win.
Yes.
And this particular band, they were so much fun to work with, and just a great family. And then after they won, their first appearance after they won was at Wood Nickel, and we had a celebration party for them. And they came and they did about an hour's worth of material that they played, and we just had a great time.
Are they on tour?
Yeah, actually, they're doing a month-long tour, I understand, towards the East Coast. I don't have tour dates or anything with me, but if you go on their Facebook or fairfiola.com, you can look them up. But very, very talented kids, and I wish them the best of luck.
You said kids. How old are they?
Oh gosh, I believe the youngest is 18. But they run all the way to around 30, I believe. It's kind of varied.
That's an old age.
Oh, well, yeah, right. I still call them kids, of course. But yeah, Battle of Bands is a tremendous way for me to see what's out there as far as young talent in Fort Wayne, and I personally really enjoy it. It's just a lot of fun to see them play. And Fair Fiola they got a van out of this because our grand prize was a $12,000 van.
Hello.
Yeah.
You do this every year, though?
Yes. Actually, we're already starting to make plans for next year. This will be the 10th. It's called the What's Up Wood Nickel Music Battle of the Bands. It's always at Columbia Street, and we're already starting to make plans for next year. So come next May, we'll have about 40 bands show up and go to it again.
How long does this last? Several weeks?
17
weeks.
Thursdays. That's how long it takes for us to get from 40 bands down to a winner. So
how do you get these groups to, how do you promote?
Oh, well, as far as Battle of the Bands itself, What's Up basically is the main one. The Bear is our radio sponsor. So they get the word out. Of course, I do too, through Wood Nickel. We have the actual forms that you sign up that are at our stores.
Do you screen them?
Doug, the owner of What's Up, and I sit down and we talk about each band and if they're going to make it as far as eligibility. If they're really young, like 16, 17-year-old kids, they can't do it because it's a bar. Yeah. You know. But yeah, we do look at each one. But but the nice thing that I do that's probably a little different than most folks do around the country is I do in-stores all the time. I think you've been out to some of our in-stores too. And
CD release.
CD release parties. We have national bands that come in and play. We just had a band called Soil, who is a platinum-selling worldwide act. They had just finished the Donington Festival in England a week before they came, and the first performance after Donington was at Wooden Nickel on a Saturday morning, and then they played at Hammerheads that evening, which is a new venue in town that does harder rock acts. But they were a lot of fun to work with. But they, so like I said, we get regional acts, national acts, local acts, but it's just a lot of fun to do those. We have the next one coming up is the Freak Brothers, which they've been around Fort Wayne for a long time. They kind of play a jazzy, funky kind of, real good dance type stuff. Yeah. But Matt Cashdollar runs that band, is a good buddy of mine, and they never played at Wood Nickel because they always did covers, and generally we don't do cover bands. We usually just do original bands. Well, they've been working apparently on this originals album for like 4 years now, and it finally got finished. As a matter of fact, it was released yesterday, and we have it at all of our locations. And September 22nd at 4 o'clock, they're going to do an in-store, and we're going to have a party and have cookies and coffee and all the fun stuff we usually do. Yes, my wife bakes fresh cookies for all of our in-stores. Chocolate oatmeal? Chip and all different ones, yeah. But it's a lot of fun, and the neat thing about our in-stores is it's all ages. We have a lot of young children that come. We have parents of the band members that come, family, friends, and we just invite everyone to come in because especially a lot of the younger bands they can't play in bars because they're a little bit young. And I usually have at least 3 or 4 times a year I'll have 6 to 10 bands come in, and we'll just do all young bands. I call them young guns, but they're like, just younger folks that are just starting out that can't get exposure in any of the bars. So we have them come in and play, and they might play for 20, 30 minutes, and then we'll just feature 6 to 8, 10 of them in a day.
So your store, you have old and new vinyl as well as CDs?
Yeah, one of the really unique things about Wood Nickel that I don't really see at all around the country, this is kind of another reason, a lot of people ask, well, how can you make it this long in this kind of environment with downloading and stuff? But one of the unique things about us is we have 3 stores. If you walk into any of our 3 stores, you're going to be like, is this really related to the other ones? Because they're so different.
Why?
Well, our store in Clinton was the original store, and that's the one that I work at on North Clinton Street, right by Glenbrook Mall. And we have 26,000 CDs in there, and 4,000 square feet of mostly all CDs. But it's the largest CD collection in Northeast Indiana, easily. And I maintain that. And
where do you get it?
Oh, we have suppliers and vendors. We go direct with some of the labels, and then we have suppliers that we get other products from. But our mix at that store is from new products to used products. Right. And used products we generally buy from the public. Regular customers will come in and just bring us a box of CDs, and we'll look at them, and we give them a trade price and a cash price. So they can get rid of some of their old CDs that they don't listen to anymore, that kind of thing.
In mind.
Oh yeah, okay, good. Well, that's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Most of my favorites are Styx.
Oh, or is that right? Oh, you like Styx?
Oh, yeah.
You want to hear an interesting story about Styx?
Tell me.
Guess where the name Wood Nickel came from? You'll be shocked. From Styx.
From one of their songs?
No. In 1974, I bought a 45 when I was a kid, and the 45 was called Lady. I'm sure you're very familiar with Lady. You could probably sing it for us. But I bought the 45. They were on a label in Chicago called Wooden Nickel Records.
Oh, yes. I remember reading about that.
Yes, and
Chicago.
Yes, and they had there was a little wooden nickel on the label. And so what I did was I kept that in the back of my mind. I said, that would be an interesting concept for a store, because I thought, a lot of stores do like this. We're doing these little cards where they'd punch them and you get to 10 and then you get like a free album or something.
Yeah.
You know, really? that was pretty common back then. But I thought, what's something no one else in the country's doing? And that's when I came up with the concept of the wood nickel token, which has been.
So that's where that picture.
On the shirt. Yeah, that's from the wood nickel token. And I took the Indian head and the wooden nickel, because it said Wood Nickel Records on it. I took that and I kind of thought about the wooden nickel concept, and that's how we came up with the the name for our stores, and B, the wooden nickel tokens. So every time someone comes in our store today and buys any CD over $6, they get a wooden nickel token. When they get 10, we give them another $5 off. And we've been offering that now for 30 years. As a matter of fact, we get customers that come in that said, I got this wooden nickel token in like 1983. And they said, is it still good? And I said, you bet it is.
I have one at home. I really have.
Well, I would assume that the majority of the houses in Fort Wayne, being that we've had so many stores and we've given out millions of them, I would assume that over the years, almost every house in Fort Wayne probably has one laying around. I mean, glove compartments and that kind of thing.
That's a good souvenir.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because I hear all these funny wood nickel stories where a guy will come in and goes, yeah, I use your wood nickels to balance my refrigerator, underneath, or I use it for coaster, I had one guy that told me a while ago that he uses it as a shot glass holder, like he uses the nickel, for his shot glass. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. Cheers.
It's got 1,000,001 uses, I don't know. But yeah, the wood nickels have been one constant thing, and it really, quite honestly, has been the best advertising tool that I could have ever hoped for. I mean, I never expected to have the response to wooden nickels that we did. I just thought it would be something different to do for our regular customers versus the standard cards or whatever, like I said before.
So how do you advertise then?
We're all over.
TV?
We're on newspapers.
My show.
I'm doing TV. Yeah, I'm doing Patty. So hey, there's nothing better than that, right? So
hello.
yeah. So once I'm on Patty's, I've made it now, right?
You betcha.
Yeah, but I primarily am a radio guy. And the reason I do radio so much is because the immediacy of hearing a song,
right,
and then hearing, and by the way, you can get that at Wood Nickel Music. When we run our spots, we'll talk about, like, let's say I'm on Rock 104 and they play a Joe Bonamassa track, and then I have a commercial on that says, by the way, you can get the new Joe Bonamassa CD at Wood Nickel. That's just perfect because people hear the song. Yeah, they love the song, and then they hear our spot and they come out and buy it from us. So it doesn't get much better than that. But
do you have a lot of sponsors?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a lot of ads, sponsors, people putting money into your... Okay.
No, I don't. No, I do everything myself. I'm a one-man bandwagon. I do everything myself. No, what I do is I have, like, in What's Up. Matter of fact, here's another interesting story. Doug Driscoll, who owns What's Up, who's been around 17 years now, when they were getting the magazine together, they were saying, well, we can't do this unless we get sponsors together for the magazine. And I was approached by his salesperson, I believe it was, that they said, we really need to get Wood Nickel in this magazine. And I was in his very first publication. And I believe myself and maybe Sweetwater and Pierre's, I believe we are the only sponsors that have been in that magazine every single issue for 17 years. Yes. So I love What's Up, and it's a free publication. You can get it all over town, and it's the best way for the average person to find out what's going on, whether you're going to a movie, whether you're going to a concert, or whatever is happening in town. It's a great publication. I highly recommend everybody pick it up. Like I said, it's free. Yeah, and we give it away in our stores, and it's awesome, and I love my relationship with them. And like I said, it's built up over the years. I'm Doug's right-hand man on it. We do an award show called the Whammies every year that's really interesting.
I've gone. That's
Have you gone to that?
Yeah, I've been twice.
Yes, I help Doug with that every year, and once again, it's a volunteer situation on my part, but we give away awards. And
are you any of the judges?
No, actually, that's a little bit different. That's all voted on. You go online and you vote for that.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, I don't have anything to do with the process of actually voting for that, unlike Battle of the Bands, which I am involved with judging, but that's all done online. So
how do you do that?
You go online to whatsup.com. They also have paper ballots that you can send in from the magazine. That's usually right around the first of the year, because I think the Whammies are typically around March 1st. Yeah, around March 1st in that area. But you can vote online or through their paper. And I think it's one ballot per person from what I can remember. But that's a lot of fun, that award show, because we usually have 8 to 10 bands that come in and play, and it's a great networking night. I do it primarily just to network with bands and meet new people and so forth and that kind of thing. So that's a lot of fun. But yeah, that's just a couple things that I do in the community. But getting back to advertising, the hottest thing for me right now actually is Facebook. I mean, that's just
yes.
Oh my gosh! I mean, that is just blowing up so big time this last year. So I am very, very active on there. I have nearly 4,000 followers myself.
Is that all?
Oh,
Is that all?
no, it's just really the way to go right now. You just reach so many people. So, like last night, right after the Dylan show, what do you think I did? I went home and I posted a bunch of pictures from the show, and I'm getting all kinds of fun comments already this morning on the Dylan show last night. I mean, that's how immediate Facebook is, and that's the wonderful thing about it is you get an immediate impact when you do something. You know, when I have a band come in and play at the stores, I put pictures up right away and promote the fact that we had this band in. Another thing that's really that I do that's really big is YouTube. I have.
Our show is going to be on YouTube.
Oh, it is awesome.
After it airs. So
awesome. Well, I'll connect it to
throughout
mine.
the nation.
All right, that's great.
And
Yeah,
world.
I actually have. Last I checked, believe it or not, I have done 1,900 videos of bands on YouTube. 1,900 videos. 1,900. Yeah, I'll be going over 2,000 soon. I just put, I think it was 8 or 9 videos from the Fairfiola show was the last thing I did. I just did that over the weekend.
How long are they? Half an hour?
Oh, no. Actually, what I usually do is I edit them, and I usually cut them back to each song. I usually pick out an average 6, 8, 10 songs from a performance, and then I'll just pick out my favorites, and I'll put those up.
So you splice them, you edit
Yes, I edit them myself, and I put them up on YouTube. But I've been active in doing bands now for about 7 years.
All right.
But you know, on Record Store Day alone, that's my toughest day of the year because I do 22 bands. This last year I did 22 bands, so that was over 100 videos.
That must be pulling you out.
No, it's just something I do in my leisure. But it's great for the bands to get exposure, and some of them have gotten thousands of hits and views from people that have been at Wood Nickel. But it's great because it's just more promotion for us too. So, but it's just a passion.
With the CDs and vinyl, that's coming back again.
Yes.
Also, the kids, instead of doing a full CD, they do EPs. What's that? What's an EP?
An EP is usually between 3 and 5, maybe 6 songs. The reason a lot of artists do EPs is because they can keep the cost relatively low on production, so that we typically will sell an EP in our store between $5 and $7, whereas a full-length album would be between $10 and $15.
Oh.
And so, plus for the bands, you know, if you're going to studio time is very expensive. And I'll give you a perfect example of the power of EPs. Sonny Taylor, one of my favorite artists.
I had her as a guest on my show.
Oh, have you? Great. Yeah, she is just a wonderful girl. And she's played at Wood Nickel numerous times. I couldn't tell you how many times. I think she's played there 3 times this year already. But interestingly, she went down to Nashville to record an album last year. And she basically ran out of money after 4 tracks.
Wow.
She had a lot of the local players really good local players come in from Nashville, but the production cost just zoomed way up. Yes, and it was a money thing. She got up to 4 tracks, and it basically exhausted all the funds she had. So what she did was, she was smart in doing this. She finished at 4 tracks, got really 4 beautifully done tracks together,
Well done.
put it on an EP, got it back up here. We have sold several hundred of them at our stores now. I've promoted the heck out of that myself through all different means, and it's done really well, and she's been just wonderful to work with to try to promote the EP and sell a lot of them. Matter of fact, she's made our Wood Nickel Top 10 chart several times as a local artist, which is hard to do as far as top 10 sellers. So.
You think she would be able to come national?
I hope so.
She's got a good voice.
Yes, I hope so. I mean, she's digging. She's trying hard. I mean, she's playing almost every festival. She does a lot of just freebie gigs just to try to keep her name out there and reach more people. But she does a tremendous job. I hope she does. I will continue to work with her and hopefully see her career flourish down the road.
Does Fatima Washington, does she have a CD?
She has a CD out. Yes, she played at Wooden Nickel last fall when she released her CD. Yes, we've done
I had
very
her
well
on
with her
as
CD
guest,
too.
too.
Have you? Yeah, yeah.
My
Fatima. Oh,
goodness.
she's wonderful. She's great. She's just got a sparkling personality.
She's beautiful.
Oh,
I
she
love her.
is. Oh,
She's-
yeah.
she-
And her
her
voice
mom-
is just. She's so. I mean, I shouldn't use Whitney Houston as an example, but if you've heard Whitney Houston,
Yes.
she's pretty
She's got it
close.
there. She's got
yeah,
it there.
yeah. She'll keep working at it, but if you like Whitney Houston, you'd like Fatima. Let's put it that way.
And she's ever so lively.
Yes.
Especially
oh,
on
yes.
stage. My goodness.
Yeah. But see, that's what's fun for me. Being behind the counter, selling albums, selling CDs, and all that kind of stuff for so long, doesn't quite excite me now as it did when I first started, because I was just worried on if I was going to make it another year. But we're so well established now, and so forth, and so many good things are happening for us right now.
You're branching out.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I mean, to give you an example, the last couple of years, one of the big things we do that a lot of people don't know about is we've established a pretty major league Amazon Marketplace store, which what we do is we take a lot of our products, local artists, like a Sonny Taylor. We've sold Sonny Taylor on Amazon Marketplace. We take a lot of our more unusual products, out of print items, and that type of thing. We've put them up on the Amazon Marketplace, and we're doing very well. We're sending out several packages a day, and they go all over the world. And we don't sell any of them in the Fort Wayne area. It's all out of town and out of state. Well, I'm just saying. But I'm just saying it's a way for us to get a little extra income and branch out and sell some things that maybe we've already got them here, so anybody can buy them in our stores. But we're trying to expand our horizons a little bit and try to hit up some folks that normally can't get to Wooden Nickel. That's kind of why we do that.
Do you sell merchandise like T-shirts or shirts?
Yes.
You have a store?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Let me mention Record Store Day, and then I'll talk about T-shirts. Record Store Day is my most amazing day of the year. It started 5 years ago, 2008 it started, and we were one of the original members. There was about 55, 60 of us that started Record Store Day, and the reason it started was because over 3,000 independent record stores had closed the decade before due to downloading, especially with all the iTunes and things that have been going on. A lot of kids have been downloading rather than buying music. So we got together and exchanged ideas, and we came up with this thing called Record Store Day. And what it really is, it's a celebration of independent retail where the record companies release a whole bunch of really unusual things that only we carry. It's the only way you can get them is through us, not online or through other sources. You have to come to our stores to get them.
Physically.
Yes. And then what we did is, and Wooden Nickel certainly is one of the top 3 or 4 chains in the country that does this, but we have music all day long. And we feature all different genres that come in and play. And like I was telling you earlier in the interview, this year we had a record 22 artists play in one day. And that's quite a bit to organize, but it is just so much fun. And the bands bring their families, their fans in, and we literally, I know at the Anthony store, which is our main vinyl store that we have, I know we had well over 2,500 people came through that day in one day, which is awesome.
I gotta have you back on my show because we have less than 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness, I thought we weren't going to talk too much, but guess what? Thank you, Bob
Okay, thanks,
Roets,
Patty. It was wonderful.
President
It was
of
wonderful.
Wooden Nickel Music,
Wooden Nickel Music.
and you have 3 stores
3
in
stores. Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in, and hope to see you next week. And have a pleasant day, and God bless.